And oh boy, Alk, we're getting Doinby Rise again.
Oh my god, and on a dime, this kind of feels like this shifts what the team is going to be able to do, especially when we talk about Jhin being able to grab lane priority versus this Ashe. Just providing cover and providing vision for their jungler, as I think this is still really smart here for NIP and even allows them to still contest for these early grubs if they want them.
It is at least a nice move from FPX to protect Care, knowing that it was getting dangerously close to a point where Care's flash still not available.
Ooh, are they looking for something? Doinby is on the way. You see that he's moving. Let's see. The Hawkshot does notice this, so you're going to see a fight here.
Nice use of the ultimates, both from Shanji and Aki. Dinks level 6, so lights have been turned out. Jway just walks back into the waiting arms of NIP so that the rest of his team can walk out safely, but it is first blood for NIP.
How much damage can FPX get on the bottom side, though? You see Udyr starting to split. They're going for the dive.
Realm Warp, and Shanji takes up the turret aggro. It's actually Doinby that's taken up as the turret now ramps up, but Doinby dodges and dips out of it. Now it's on to Shanji, but he dodges it with the twisted advance. And they're going to drop the turret aggro as they cannot get enough damage onto Shadow, but NIP got more than what they bargained for.
And Aki doesn't quite know it's gone. Doinby doesn't have the ultimate, but Care is also matching.
Good use of the smite. Shadow gonna use the trickster to walk
Shanji.
Oh, but Shanji's there to block his path. That forces Shadow's flash. Nature's Grasp on the hunt here.
Oh, he gets tagged?
And he gets the twisted advance right on the back end of it. And oh no, Shadow thought that he could survive.
Wanted to see from NIP if they wanted to have early dominance with the composition they have.
Big thing though, Aki just dinged the first item power spike for himself, so he's very strong. There's no flash for Shadow, so if NIP want to send it, as long as Shadow oversteps his welcome here on these grubs, they can call for it. Teleport is already coming in for both teams. Shanji has the ultimate ready, looking for a pincer maneuver, waiting for them to overextend just enough. Lights have been turned out, leave ready, and waiting to pincer as well. Shanji's in, Aki dives onto bot, forces him to flash away and reposition. Aki might have overextended now his own welcome, and he's gonna get completely zoned off by Sheer, but the rest of NIP have full control of the river. They're forcing FPX to fall one by one, as now Sheer is left to his own devices in a 1v2, trying to run away, but Shanji locks him down once again with a twisted advance, pushes him back with the brand.
What is going on, man?
Hang on, Udyr still surviving, barely surviving the last bullet. FPX grateful that the top laner being able to pull out more than what they should have gotten, but NIP still control of the river. It's gonna kill Sheer. That Doinby had just completely obliterated the back line off of the teleport in. He's just living the best time of his life once again. I mean, this is the power of something like a Rise where, as we said before, Alk, if you don't play against this champion regularly, especially in pro play with the rest of your team versus trying to fight through darkness.
The sneaky wards!
Here comes the Avengers signals. Let's see how many join the cause here. PP God is
Beautiful
trying to lead the charge and at least burn some of these ultimates, but Shanji now behind them all, looking for Care.
Doinby's caught!
Tries to break open the fight, but wait a minute, Doinby just gets chain CC'd. The Rise Mage is gone. FPX, they completely deny and nullify NIP's engage.
Small disadvantage, but this entire time, Aki's been hitting the bottom, the mid-tier one. They're not able to get it in time. It's first turret going over to FPX. Aki was nowhere near that play when we saw Shanji start to teleport. So getting some boot upgrades, which I know we've kind of been talking about them ever since they were introduced, but super potent with what Doinby has. I mean, even if you want to get the upgraded lucidity boots, just so many different interactions, and especially the amount of movement speed that you have access to.
For NIP to take full control, as now I think the play for NIP is just try and play for mid-wave, take down the turret, a paranoia, hang on, does Aki now join the fight, curtain call, but look where Doinby has arrived at a Realm War, but Shadow is now just trying to completely annihilate Leave. He does so beautifully, flashes over the wall, completely separates himself from Doinby as he now chases for another, and Shanji, because he's got no damage dealers, he is now just going to get burned down by the backline. FPX completely putting NIP in disarray, and the rest of NIP, I think they just got their pants pulled down. FPX just handled every single threat one by one.
Incredibly kind of paper light versus you. So you have the Ashe. Oh, we're doing it immediately. Turn. What?
Paranoia right onto the target of FPX, and good night Care. Just a little too isolated, but here comes the rest of the cavalry of FPX. Maybe they can
wait a minute!
Around.
No!
Hostile take the Realm Warp from Doinby! says nope. They get out of the engage, and now they can re-engage on their own terms when they've got a sniper in the crow's nest on the far right side of the Baron pit, raining hell down on the FPX. Fly, Phoenix, fly back into the ground as the ashes scatter the river.
It's a voracious Otacon that's already half-baked for them. NIP, with what was looking like a slightly botched fight from them, are able to turn it on a dime from their star mid laner's key ultimate. Right at the very last moment where it's possible for the Renata ult to hit, NIP are able to escape.
Hostile takeover projectile reaches Doinby and would have canceled the Realm Warp. Could have been a completely different story, but we're not living in that universe, Alk. We're living in the timeline where NIP just pulled off probably the most BS thing I've ever seen in a hot minute. But man, oh man, that is the Doinby Rise experience for you.
This was kind of the mid matchup that we wanted to see. How much impact were they going to have in a series? Care traditionally has been someone who's kind of shied away from some of that spotlight, especially when we're talking about last year's FPX iteration. And Doinby always feels like a large voice, especially with how boisterous he is. We're getting an actual fight here as Rise comes on through with the teleport.
Doinby returns, Shockwave does paperweight damage, and he's going to Realm Warp to try and see if he can cut off Shadow as well, but Shadow does manage to clear enough distance, will escape the grasp of NIP.
Puts them at soul point, and this feels like it is the game turning here. Aki goes forward. That's just the AD carry experience, man. You stepped up to farm Raptors, wrong side of the jungle, man. The lane they want now. Remember, level 17 on this Rise. Realm Warp has a huge amount of distance it can cross.
And they're already just burning the dragon as fast as possible. Shadow is trying to walk through the fog of wars to see if he can maybe get into the pit, but PP denies him by knocking him up right before he got to the wall. The arrow stopped the curtain call in its tracks, but I don't think any NIP was getting any more off of that engage.
FPX have to pull something. They have to look for a fight now that this Nocturne ultimate is no longer available.
And there's no Maokai ultimate either, so in terms of engage tools, it's really just on PP God and Realm Warp from Doinby to find an angle here. But the Baron is not burning down fast enough. Aki
here we go, no one's there.
And they're looking for the pincer. Shanji leads the charge. Sheer trying to dissuade them from walking any further.
Shadow!
Aki, oh, wait a minute, Shadow sends it with the
Baron!
Trying to see if he can break the line, but Shadow falls. And if the Monkey King is gone, I don't think there's any hope for the remaining Phoenix members. FPX starting to fall one by one as Sheer is isolated by NIP once again. Paranoia is accessible once again for Aki as he takes off the lights from every single member left on the Rift. FPX completely aced, and NIP, this game is theirs.
That's a soul. It's going to be Baron. Some of the early game was looking kind of wary there for NIP, but they get it done in a team fight. The Rise ultimate being such a large bait for this team, being a distraction there, just sets up the rest of the team. I will say, as much as we've been talking about this mid-jungle duo, need a clear vision. Anyone that steps up even close to this turret, you can have a Nocturne and a Jhin ult that you can't even see coming. So lots of damage on a side lane now. They can play on two waves. Such big map control, kind of playing the big picture here from NIP as FPX are going to have to watch as the rest of this game crumbles around them.
Yep, they're going to open up the siege by using the curtain call. Decent chunk on the Jway. Care is also losing a lot of HP, down below 50%. Shanji just opening up even further with the Maokai ultimate. This just gives freedom for NIP to walk in through the bot side of the map. Inhibitor turret, gone. Inhibitors both in mid lane and bot lane, gone.
Hey, can we get it? Hey, we got another inhibitor. Okay, that's 1 million items, man. Look at how much HP he has. This guy is not dying ever, and he does 1 million damage. Like, you're never actually going to be able to take down this Rise from this position. They're using even Shanji's ult, like we were saying earlier, just to make sure they can grab this. Full court press here. Another minion wave arriving in mid. You've got 8 seconds, so no more Baron.
Arrow goes wide. Wait a minute. Leave stepped a little too far forward. He's taken out of the picture here. Maybe
there's
NIP.
Aki.
This is a fight that has gone a little too sour. Shadow finds PP God, and suddenly, even though Aki trades on the bat, Care and Shadow are still trying to fight their way through this fight. Sheer doing the damnedest he can on the Udyr. Maybe he'll get one back onto Doinby, but can he deal with the rest of NIP? That is going to be the question. Aki cannot step up forward, and FPX's solo laners might have just bought them them enough time to live to see another day, but they cannot protect the inhibitor, and these Nexus towers are under fire. Shanji,
Shanji does no damage!
dude, Sheer and Care can't actually take out this Maokai, man. He's just healing and sustaining through it all. On the side of NIP. And now with the Elder Dragon spawn, FPX are forced
Shadow
to leave the
dead?
base. They have to
Oh, no!
contest it. No, this is not where Shadow wants to be. Care gets a decent shockwave to follow up, but no one falls from the side of NIP. No jungler, no AD carry, just down to your solo laners and your support, and that's not a recipe for success at all. It's FPX. Good night to both Jue and Care as they get sniped off, and now it's just the last dude here on the side, but he's not gonna do anything. At least not enough to stop NIP from pouring into this base, and it's all open season for NIP. GG, well played once again. Another dominant victory where it looks closer for FPX, but somehow, someway, NIP arrives all the same. 2-0, they lead the series.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.